Welcome, fellow Frugal Living enthusiasts. Today we're going to take a journey back in time to one of the most challenging economic eras in history. The Great Depression. Imagine a time when the stock market crashes, banks fail, and people are losing their jobs and home. This was the reality for millions of Americans during the Great Depression. But through all the struggles, people found ways to come together and support one another. They learned to be resourceful, adaptable, and frugal in ways that we can still learn from today. So if you're ready to take a trip back in time and learn some valuable frugal living lessons from the Great Depression, grab a cup of coffee and let's get started. Lesson 1. The importance of budgeting and keeping track of expenses. When times are tough and money is tight, the first step to financial stability is creating a budget. And let me tell you, during the Great Depression, budgeting was not just a good idea. It was a necessity. People had to stretch every penny and make every dime count. That meant keeping a close eye on their expenses and making sure they were only spending money on the essentials. You see, during the Great Depression, there was no room for frivolous spending. Every purchase had to be carefully considered and planned for. And that's something we can all learn from. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Budgeting sounds boring and restrictive, but it doesn't have to be. Budgeting is simply a tool to help you take control of your finances and make sure your money is working for you. So, how do you create a budget? Well, first, you'll want to gather all your financial information, including your income, expenses, and debt. Then you'll want to create categories for your expenses such as housing, transportation, and food. Next, you'll want to set a spending limit for each category. Once you have your budget in place, it's important to track your expenses and make sure you're sticking to your budget. That way, you can quickly identify any areas where you're overspending and make adjustments as needed. By budgeting and keeping track of your expenses, you'll have a better understanding of your financial situation and be able to make more informed decisions about your money. And trust me, during the Great Depression, that was a valuable skill to have. So, take a page out of history and start budgeting today. It's the first step to financial stability. Lesson 2. The art of bartering and trading goods and services. During the Great Depression, money was tight and jobs were scarce, so people had to get creative in order to make ends meet. Enter the art of bartering and trading goods and services. You see, during the Great Depression, people didn't have the luxury of just buying what they needed or wanted. So, they turned to bartering and trading as a way to get what they needed without spending money. For example, a farmer might trade a bag of potatoes for a basket of eggs with a neighbor, or a seamstress might trade a handmade dress for a month's worth of milk from a local dairy farmer. Bartering and trading not only helped people save money, but it also helped build strong communities. People were able to support one another and share resources, even when money was scarce. Now, you might be thinking, that sounds great, but how can I barter and trade in today's world? The good news is that bartering and trading is still alive and well today. There are online platforms and local groups where you can trade goods and services with others. For example, you can trade your skills as a graphic designer for a month's worth of fresh produce from a local farmer, or you can trade your old car for a used bike. Bartering and trading is not only a great way to save money, but it's also a way to build community and strengthen relationships. So, take a cue from the Great Depression and explore the art of bartering and trading. You might be surprised at what you can get without spending a dime.
Lesson 3. The value of self-sufficiency and being resourceful.
If there's one thing we can learn from the Great Depression, it's that being able to rely on yourself can be a game changer. During this difficult period, people had to learn how to be self-sufficient in order to make ends meet. They had to grow their own food, make their own food, make their own clothes, and repair their own possessions. And let me tell you, it was no easy feat, but it was a necessary one. Self-sufficiency and resourcefulness were not only important for survival during the Great Depression, but they are also valuable skills to have today. So let's dive in and learn how to be more self-sufficient and resourceful in today's world. During the Great Depression, people had to be resourceful in order to make the most of what they had. They grew their own food, made their own clothes, and repaired their own possessions. Not only did this save them money, but it also gave them a sense of pride and accomplishment. Today, we can still learn from this resourcefulness and apply it to our own lives. For example, learning to cook can save money and help you eat healthier. Sewing and mending clothes can extend the life of your wardrobe. And simple home repairs can save you from costly bills. But it's not just about saving money. Self-sufficiency and resourcefulness can also give us a sense of empowerment and independence. When we're able to rely on ourselves, we're less dependent on others, and we feel more in control of our lives. So there you have it, the value of self-sufficiency and being resourceful. It's not just about saving money, it's about feeling empowered and independent. Take inspiration from the Great Depression and learn to be more self-sufficient and resourceful today. You'll not only save money, but also gain a sense of accomplishment and pride. Lesson 4. The power of community and sharing resources. Communities banded together, sharing resources and helping each other out. It was a time when people truly looked out for one another, and it's something we can all learn from. During the Great Depression, communities came together to share resources and support one another. People formed community gardens where they could grow food together, shared tools and equipment, and even traded goods and services. Today, we can still build and participate in communities that share resources. Community gardens, tool libraries, and co-ops are just a few examples of ways to share resources and build community. Not only is it a great way to save money, but it also fosters a sense of community and belonging. When we share resources, we're not only helping ourselves, but we're also helping others. And as a result, we build stronger, more resilient communities. Participating in a community that shares resources can also be a great way to meet new people, learn new skills, and make a positive impact on the world. Lesson 5. The importance of being mindful of consumption. In today's world, we're bombarded with messages to consume. But as we learned from the Great Depression, being mindful of consumption is not only good for our wallets, but it's also good for the environment. During the Great Depression, people had to be mindful of what they consumed, including food and goods, in order to make it last. They bought in bulk, used reusable containers, and reduced waste. Today, we can still learn from this mindfulness and apply it to our own lives. Buying in bulk can save money and reduce packaging waste. Using reusable containers can cut down on single-use plastics, and reducing waste can save resources and help the environment. Being mindful of consumption is not only good for our wallets, but it's also good for the environment. When we're mindful of what we consume, we're also reducing our impact on the planet.
So, there you have it. The importance of being mindful of consumption. It's not only good for our wallets, but it's also good for the environment. Take inspiration from the Great Depression and be more mindful of what you consume.
You'll not only save money, but also make a positive impact on the planet. Lesson 6. The benefits of living with less. We'll get to that in a second. I have a favor to ask of you. If you like this video so far, please subscribe to the channel. We live in a world where we're constantly bombarded with messages to buy more, and be more. But as we learned from the Great Depression, living with less can lead to a happier and more fulfilling life. During the Great Depression, people had to make do with less, and it taught them to appreciate what they had. They learned to live with less possessions, less clutter, and less stress. Today, we can still learn from this mindset and apply it to our own lives. Decluttering and simplifying our possessions can lead to a less stressful and more organized life. It can also save money and resources. Living with less can also lead to a more fulfilling life. When we have fewer possessions, we're less likely to feel weighed down by stuff and more likely to focus on the things that truly matter. Living with less doesn't mean living without. It means living with purpose. It's about surrounding ourselves with the things we truly value and letting go of the things that don't serve us. Lesson 7. The power of saving and investing. During the Great Depression, saving and investing were crucial in order to secure financial stability. And it's a valuable lesson we can all learn from today. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in instant gratification and overspending. But as we learned from the Great Depression, saving and investing can lead to a more secure financial future. During the Great Depression, saving and investing were crucial in order to secure financial stability. People had to be mindful of their spending and save whatever they could in order to have a cushion for the future. Today, we can still learn from this mindset and apply it to our own lives. Setting financial goals, creating a budget, and sticking to it can help us save for the future. And there are a variety of savings accounts and investment options available to us today. Saving and investing can lead to a more secure financial future and also gives us the ability to achieve our financial goals and dreams. It's not only about having a cushion for the future, but also gives us the ability to make our future brighter. It's also important to keep in mind that saving and investing takes time and patience, but small steps taken consistently over time can lead to big results. Lesson 8. The benefits of being adaptable and resourceful. In today's fast-paced world, change is the only constant. But as we learned from the Great Depression, being adaptable and resourceful can help us navigate life's challenges and turn them into opportunities. During the Great Depression, people had to be adaptable and resourceful in order to survive. They had to learn new skills, find new ways of making a living, and be open to new opportunities. Today, we can still learn from this adaptability and apply it to our own lives. Learning new skills can open up new career opportunities and give us a sense of personal growth. Being open to new opportunities can lead to new experiences and personal growth. Being adaptable and resourceful also means being able to think outside the box and find new solutions to problems. As we've learned in this series, the Great Depression was a difficult and trying time for many. But despite the hardships, people found ways to make ends meet and even thrive. These lessons from the Great Depression can still be applied to our own lives today. Whether we're facing financial difficulties or simply looking for ways to save money and live more sustainably, the principles of frugal living can help us achieve a more stable and fulfilling life. So, take inspiration from the Great Depression and start applying these frugal living lessons to your own life. You'll be surprised at how much you can save, how much more you can achieve, and how much happier you can be. But the journey doesn't end here. If you're ready to start improving your financial well-being, take action now. Check the first link in the description for our Frugal Living A-book. Our comprehensive guide covers everything you need to know about living a frugal and rewarding life, including creating a budget, identifying areas for cost-cutting, and finding affordable alternatives to everyday expenses. It's never too late to start making smart financial decisions.